Thanks so much for joining IoT show and this keynote in the morning. I know Bangalore is crazy with respect to traffic. Reaching to this place and finding out the time in the mid of a week is actually a tough thing to do, especially in cities like metro cities like Bangalore. So thanks so much for joining. The context of this conversation is this technology is so powerful, right? I mean, that is why I kept the title, right? Power of Internet of Things. What it can do for human life, for customers, for partners, for the entire society, right? And that is where I thought that let me share some context with respect to how technology is getting evolved. We have seen the domain evolving, right? I mean, somebody just spoke about Industry 4.0. That was actually a domain revolution when we started with steam engines and electricity and IT systems into the existence, and then the market and the industry adopted those technologies. But there is a powerful revolution which is happening from the technology side of it. And I'm sure this audience is actually business plus technology. So that's where I thought that let me give you a perspective on where we are headed with respect to technology world and how it is going to impact the business, right? The net thing out of this technology is there has to be a benefit for human beings. There has to be a benefit for business. There has to be a benefit for society. So to start with, I always say this, right? In the next 5 years, and I agree with Jeffrey Moore, who actually says that in the next 5 years, you are going to deal with existential threat. What does that mean is the market is changing so dramatically that the expectations are changing. Today, you and me, our expectations are very different. Early morning, we expect that there has to be an insight which is coming from your smart devices. You need to have a cab to come to this place. Everything is so sophisticated, right? And that's where we are saying that, and I agree to Jeffrey Moore saying that if you do not change now, you will not be there in the business anymore. And this has been proven that the companies who were actually there in the business for 100 years, 80 years, and if they don't change over time, they are not there into the business. There are a lot of examples locally and globally where market is changing, customer expectations are changing, customer experiences are changing. So this is the fundamental fact. That's where somewhere it is giving a clue on where the market is headed, what's going to happen next, right? And I love this, right, what Satya says. Industry after industry is transforming as we speak, and there's a tremendous opportunity for all of us. I'm sure there are customers here, there are partners here, there are technical evangelists here, there are technical architects and developers, watching this show. And that is why I agree with, the statement, and Satya is so, confident about this, saying that this perhaps more than a history, in the history, that technology has never added such a capability. It is not only adding the capability, but it is actually changing the business model. And you will see n number of examples. I'm going to show you a couple of examples as well, saying that how the industry is moving and how the business models are actually getting changed. That's where customers are seeing, that's where enterprise customers are seeing. The next one is, what's the impact of this digital technology? I mean, all of us are here in India. So let me give you an Indian context here, right? The GDP components impacted by digital technologies today, that number is 8%. That itself is a great, evidence of how this digital technology is playing a role in our life, in the society, in our enterprises, right? But the more fascinating and the more exciting news is how it is going to impact by 2021. It is going to be 60%, right? And if we're talking about GDP getting impacted by digital technologies, I think we are in the right forum to discuss. And that's where I thought that the title line for this particular session has to be the power of Internet of Things, the technology which is going to create a huge impact, across industry segments, across societies, across smart cities. I'll give you examples, and so that you will be able to correlate what I'm actually talking about. But the more fascinating thing is, today if you consider, let's talk about the India market size on IoT, right? Today there are 60 million devices which are already connected to internet using IoT. And that's the fact, right? So, but the more exciting news is that by 2020, 1.9 billion devices are going to be connected. Now we imagine the amount of data it is going to push, the amount of insights and intelligence which you are going to create out of this to change the perspective, whether it is a customer experience, whether it is efficiency improvement, innovation, business model transformation. There are multiple facets to that. I will give you a glimpse of all of this, how it's going to change in the due course of time. But what is important is, this number is going to be $15 billion opportunity just for India by 2020. And we are headed towards that. This is not a hypothetical thing anymore. I started this journey 5 years back. When I used to talk to customers and Indian scenarios, people used to say, crazy idea, maybe it's not going to fly. But today, I have so many customers who are into pilots, who are moving into productions, multi-site, multi-geo, thousands of assets getting connected. It's a reality today. And that's where enterprises are actually getting the benefit coming out of it. So imagine this, the opportunity is tremendous. Whether you are from business, whether you are from technology side of it, think through. This power of technology is going to create a huge differentiation for all of us. Even better is to understand how it is going to impact in certain industries, right? I mean, I'm sure the obvious question which comes to our mind is, how this technology is going to play a role in the industries? So if you see now on the left side, utilities, manufacturing, transportation and logistics and automotive, these sectors have already seen a great success for this technology. And the numbers are in double digit. That's where we also see that we get a lot of customer interaction, a lot of projects are actually into the pilots and deployments there, right? So that is going to create a huge impact. It is creating a huge impact. And there are certain verticals which are picking up. Healthcare is really getting into that mode now, going into double-digit growth. Retail is picking up. Agriculture is actually getting there. A lot of things has to happen from the policy side of it. That is why we are not actually able to see some real transformation, rapid transformation in the agriculture, but it is picking up. It is single digit, but in the due course of time, it is going to hit double digit as well. So this gives you a perspective on this technology is really powerful, and this is not only creating an impact for one or two segments, it is across the industry. So you name the industry, you name the scenario, this technology is going to create the differentiation and the impact. Right? So there is a tremendous opportunity for all of us, and we are saying that there is no other vertical which is left there. You talk about smart cities, you talk about healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, energy and utilities, refining, process manufacturing, discrete manufacturing, oil and gas, if you have to bucket this on the top, right? And there are certain scenarios in banking and insurance as well, right? The driver behavior-based insurance, which is so common in the Western region, but it has to come to India. It is going to come. One or two, customers have already tried that, and they're coming up with the pointing system for, insurance and all of that. So improvements are happening, and the impact will be, visible across these verticals. Now, very important is, I talked about impact, I talked about power of this technology. I will give you examples what we at Microsoft has done, a digital transformation journey for our customers and how the impact is seen. I'll pick up a couple of examples, and we're going to talk certain details about one or two use cases as well. Think of ThyssenKrupp, a very popular case study of Microsoft where we have connected 1.1 million elevators to Microsoft Cloud, and we are doing a remote monitoring and a predictive maintenance of those services, the elevators, so that the uptime of these elevators is really high, and you're able to save the cost by giving the optimized service to your customers. Think of Rolls-Royce, complete disruption. The company which used to make jet engines and supply to the airlines, now we're actually getting into jet engine as a service. And the impact is tremendous. 1% fuel saving is, you see that $250K saving per year per plane. Multiply by thousands of flights, that is going to be the impact of this technology. I get a lot of questions around ROI of IoT technologies, right? All the examples here, and you refer to all the bold numbers, it's actually ROI, right? But somebody has to really get started with this technology. Have a thought process in your mind. Be clear with what is there as a business. What's going to be the impact of this particular technology? What is the given scenario? Is it a right challenge for that customer? Where he is headed with respect to business? If you think through all of this and evolve with the use case, I'm sure there is going to be ROI in that particular use case. So a lot of such examples, but what I wanted to show you is how this technology is touching your lives.